The new captain was shocked to find that the submarine he was in charge of was actually an old WWII-era sub, covered in rust, and besides being able to float, if you took it apart it'd be nothing but scrap metal. The captain nearly burst into tears. It was supposed to be a nuclear-powered sub, but what he had was this piece of junk in front of him. What shocked him even more was, the crew he was assigned was completely ridiculous. The sailor was a gambler who lost so much he didn't even have shoes to wear. The executive officer's voice was louder than a ship's horn. The engineer clearly had ties to the mafia, and the only surprise to the captain was the sonar operator. He was said to have the sharpest hearing in the military. The captain quietly asked the executive officer about him, and found out the sonar operator's exceptional hearing had caused him to overhear too many secret conversations from the leadership. Other captains didn't trust him because of that.
Excuse me, sir, I don't hear everything, but I'm quite trustworthy.
Then there was the very attractive female lieutenant. Finally the main crew was complete. With Evrion's combined effort, the old WWII submarine was refurbished to look like new, and given a bodice name. The captain couldn't wait to set sail and show off his skills. But as soon as they left the port, the submarine ran into trouble. To complete the test given by his superior for the female crew member, the captain handed over the command to the female lieutenant. As soon as she took over, she started making risky moves. She ordered the submarine to dive to 500 feet. Other crew members were a bit worried, but followed her orders and pulled down the dive lever. Just after diving to 30 feet, the hull suddenly tilted. The crew was caught off guard, and they all fell to the walls. Some even thought the submarine had hit an iceberg. The female lieutenant ordered to dive to 500 feet, which completely stunned everyone. But seeing the captain calmly drinking his coffee, the crew could only pray in their hearts. As they descended to 100 feet, the crew's tension grew, worrying that the submarine might be crushed by the water pressure. But the submarine kept descending at an alarming rate, finally reaching 400 feet. The female lieutenant realized she had acted impulsively, but the captain just laughed and ordered them to continue, to see how far the WWII sub could go. As the crew's hearts raced with tension, the submarine kept heading toward the 500-foot target. Suddenly, the hull made strange noises. The walls started to bend from the water pressure, and pipes began leaking. The submarine began to suffer damage. Screws popped out one by one, and the sturdy warning light shattered. But luckily, the submarine didn't suffer any fatal damage, and successfully completed the 500-foot dive. The crew finally let out a sigh of relief. The captain immediately ordered the submarine to surface, but just as the submarine hadn't yet reached the surface, he received a new order from the military to immediately change course and head toward the battle zone.